all clear on the injury front?
Yep.
Matthew, do you think that looks better than the Geelong win, is it? Is it better than that one?
At the moment, right at this moment, it feels really good. The Geelong win was a great win. We actually referred to that pre-game today. Went back and talked about how we prepared for that game, how our mindsets were coming in, and this one was a similar challenge for us against a side that have obviously been performing really well and hadn't lost a game to this point, so we knew it was a massive challenge, and I think our guys really enjoy those massive challenges. So I'm so proud of what they put out there today.
What about the method, particularly when we can throw away the stats from this game, can't we? Because they just tell a big lie as to what was going to happen at the end. Your outside stuff was superior to theirs. You weren't worried about what then happened in the contest. So is it more method than just energy this time?
Yeah, I didn't bring the stats in, but I know what the stats were, and for a while there, when you say you didn't need to worry about him, we were concerned about Oliver. He's an outstanding footballer, and that's 2 in a row now. We haven't been able to stop him. We didn't put time into him, but what we did put time into was the way we played as a team. So our shape, the way we used the ball, we tried to challenge them with the footy, and especially in the first half, I felt we came in at half time and felt like we had the game where we wanted it. They adjusted, and to their credit, that's why they're winning games of footy. We then had to change, but we hung in there, and yeah, in the end, it wasn't the individual that won the game. It was the team effort. We had some moments where players stood up that they won't be noticed. They won't be things that the media talk about. It'll be Tex's goal, and I love the fact that he had the ball in his hands. I think we all do. Fogg, just prior to that, 2 pretty good goal kickers who, that's their weapon. That's what they work on a lot. And then we got the structure right, and we were able to hold on in the end.
As Murray handballs to ground at the very end, are you thinking, I hope this doesn't bounce from behind, throw it up, or I hope the umpire doesn't call it deliberate?
My thought was I hope his teammate was close enough, and I honestly haven't looked back over it. I believe there was someone nearby. Was he aiming for the points? I haven't sat down with him yet, and it's one of those hard ones, isn't it? To make a call on. I don't know what he was actually doing at that point in time, whether he was trying to knock it through for a point or not, or just put it to grass for a teammate to run onto. I'd say it was the latter.
It's been a bit of a turning point, Matthew. I mean, you did it against Geelong, but to actually do it again, as you say, against an unbeaten team, can be a bit of a turning point in belief that we've done it once, wasn't a flash in the pan, we've done it again.
Yeah, we haven't lost the belief. I know we'd lost, too many games in a row, but behind closed doors, the belief is there, and I hope. And you could hear the belief in the grandstand today. We had amazing support come in and get behind the boys again. Our members and supporters were incredible tonight. The noise. We're down by 3 goals with 6 minutes to go, and we changed a few things, and our guys really put the foot on the accelerator. The noise goes up. Adrenaline, momentum. It's amazing what it can do for you. And we believe. We've believed the last 4 or 5 weeks. We've probably felt we were unlucky on a few games. We got a lot of things wrong. We've been patchy in games where we've stopped playing for 15 minutes or for a quarter, and that's cost us the game. But we've got a lot of things that we're working on that we're doing really well. So we believe. But again, we've got improving to do to make sure that we can compete and we can win more games week in, week out.
How did you see the ruck tools going?
Oh, look, to be honest, it's when you play against Max Gawn, you ask your ruckman to play an important role for the team. And so when we talk about the individuals, well, Gawny was on top. I think you find that's most weeks with Gawn. Rob played a really important role for us as part of that team, as we spoke about before. We didn't win the game because Rob was the best ruckman on the ground, but he played some really important moments where he got forward of the ball when Gawn was back looking to intercept mark, and he was able to bring the ball to ground, and we scored off of that. There were times where he didn't quite get that right, and that's why Max is such a good footballer, because he'll punish you when you don't. And that's only one example. There are other examples where Fogg played an important role on Lever tonight, and Lever showed how good he is at football as well at times. So it was a really good battle right across the game. We had some great battles out there, and in the end we were in front when it counted. And so, that's why we're so proud of what the group were able to do.
How important is it that the team actually was able to fight back? Like, against Geelong, let all day was able to hold on, but to actually come back late against the side that's unbeaten, has been flying, how important is that for the team?
Well, I mean, I guess it's another thing another experience that they're going to go through. As such a young group, they go through now an experience of we can come from behind. They get belief in that moment and that scenario. As I said, 3 goals down, and we weren't in the best space in the third quarter. In the last, we were able to get the game a little bit more in our front half, so we were pressuring a little bit more. As I said, we put the foot on the accelerator a little bit harder in that last. We took a couple of risks when we were down by 3, and some of those risks paid off. But in the end, it's about putting your head over the ball and going pretty hard. We got the ball going our way, and we scored. I think the guys will come out of this game feeling really good about the work we've done now for the last couple of months.
Talking kind of mentioned, there's moments that won't get mentioned, won't have a spotlight on because text kicks. I mean, what are some of those moments that you talked about there?
Oh, there's too many to name, but there's I mentioned Rob's role, where people will say, well, Rob was beaten on the night. Yeah, but there were some really important contests. Same with Fogg. Fogg had some great contests ahead of the ball. Sam Berry, I thought, was outstanding in the first half. So clean with the footy for such a young footballer. Our backs, who were under pressure at points during the game, were able to adjust the way they played in the second half, and we were able to get a better structure. So a number of different things that'll come up that we'll look at and review and we'll reward, and we'll enjoy watching those together, and then we'll move on pretty quickly as we normally do and look at next week.
So where you made the greatest advancement in this first half of the year from what we remember of you last year? What's the greatest gain so far?
I think the consistency of effort and contest. It's 10 rounds in now, and we feel that we dropped away for one in that area, and that was against the Giants, and the Giants were too good for us. But it was off the back of our intensity dropped, be it a couple of % that game, and that's enough against the best. So that's been our biggest strength this year, has been the consistency of we're in the fight, like we're out there and we're fighting. And when we get it wrong and we've lost games of footy, which we have up until this week, we've lost 4 or 5. It's been in other areas of our game where we've continued to develop and learn from our mistakes. And a lot of those are, to believe it or not, a lot of those are the way we move the ball. The decisions we make at times, or where we don't take an option that's there and we don't challenge the opposition. So today was a really complete game for us, because we fought hard. We got behind, as you said. We were able to fight back. We used the ball really well for a half. The game changed. We were able to fight a little bit more down the line and embrace the contest in that quarter. And then we're able to get a lot of structural stuff done really well in the last 2 minutes of a game to make sure that we didn't go down by one kick.
Why wasn't there some more he's put into play in Oliver, given he after half time, given how the impact he was having on the game?
It's about actually stopping him. It's not that we didn't put some time into him. We work a certain way through our midfield, and and without giving too much away, sometimes tagging can pull your stoppage apart. And we found last time we played against Melbourne, we put some time into Oliver and we couldn't get it done. So this time we spoke to the group about the team getting it done. You'd argue we didn't, as far as the stoppage goes and his ability to bust out of there, and especially I thought in that second half he got a lot more ball coming out. I think he had 12 in the third, 12 in the last or more. Sometimes you clap your hands to a player who's where he is in a really good space. in the end today, we got it done as a team. And that's what we play. We play a team game, so we'll review some of that and look at ways why we weren't able to stop him in around the contest, but we'll also embrace what we did really well there too.
You've put the highest score of the season up against the number one defence. I mean, what clicked for your forward structure today?
It was team structure that got it done, especially first half. Again, I haven't got them in front of me, but I believe we kicked 7 or 8 goals from turnover, maybe in the first half. And that hasn't been our weapon for the year. We've been a stoppage dominant team as far as our score source goes. We're doing a lot of work on that, the ability to score off intercept. And I thought our group did that really well today. We were turning some ball over in the back half, and we were composed with the footy off the intercept rather than trying to go too fast and challenge the opposition. I thought we did that really well. That was, you talk about areas we're improving in. We've still got work to do on that, but against Melbourne today, we knew that was going to be really important because we're playing a side today that teams that averaged around 60 odd points against Melbourne. We would like to think we keep them to lower than 60 odd, but that wasn't the case today. We were able to get some offence as well, and the game at times was a bit of a shootout. Our guys quite enjoyed that in the first half.
It seemed like the instruction to the forwards was not bomb it long, actually lower the eyes, try and go a bit shorter, given that Melbourne's intercepting ability with Lever and May.
Yep.
Was that the case?
Yeah. There's they've got some weapons behind the ball that we knew about coming in, and the last thing we wanted to do was just dump it in long and allow them to use those. So, I thought we balanced that really well because at times we did catch them out the back, and that's our area of growth that we've got to keep working on. Is that completing the play in the front half. We train that a lot. We have issues at training with that. We're getting better and better at it, so we'll keep working on it. And the guys are getting some great experience while we're doing it.
Matthew, was there a significant difference this week, the way you defended, so that Melbourne couldn't pinpoint it forward like West Coast did last week?
Yeah, there is. We had a focus of, again, I don't want to go into too much detail in that, but
Did you change it up?
Slightly. We did a bit of work this week. We're being scored on too easily, so it wasn't necessarily just Melbourne. Unfortunately at the moment we sit right down the lower end of scores against, where if we want to compete week in, week out, it can't be 90 odd points a game against and expecting ourselves to kick 130 or 110 to win a game of footy. So our focus for the last couple of weeks has been around how do we limit score. Again, there's a big wheel that turns. When you work on something else comes up. So,
Like holding it up further down the field?
Well,
That today?
yeah, how you move the ball also helps you defend as well. And that's where we talk about, especially that first half, I felt our guys balanced the game really well. We asked them a few questions rather than just kicking the ball back, as you mentioned.
Was that, I guess, trying to stop scores against, was that why maybe Nick Murray came in to add a bit more height? I think it was probably that might be playing set tall in a way for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, not necessarily, not from an individual point of view. I mentioned in the presser last week, we had a 10-minute patch where Darling took the game from us. We felt for 3 quarters or 3 and a bit quarters, we got that done really well. It wasn't a height issue. We got a lot of things wrong in that 10-minute patch. So this week we were up against another team that could stretch you with height, especially with Max Gawn sliding forward at times. We felt that Muzz coming in balanced us out a little better this week. And we'll look at that depending on the matchups and who we come up against each week. Unfortunately for Muzz, he's a little bit in and out of the team. Sometimes as a young player coming in, that's how it is for a period of time. But again, really pleased with what he brought tonight.
Matthew, I respect everything you say about it's the team and the team win, but when Tex has got the ball lining up, what goes through your mind?
To be honest, we'd actually begun planning, I guess, how we structure up next. We back him in to kick that goal, so the planning is already done for what happens at the next centre bounce. In saying that, if you're going to have a player from your team at 40 metres dead in front, he's the guy to have with the ball. because he's done it so many times. He's experienced and he's able to calm himself in that moment.
And then personally for yourself, what do you feel when from the centre bounce Petrarca gets the ball, it gets the stoppage, standing out, it looks like he's pushing inside 50.
I'm not sure I can say that. I was quite calm in the box, and no. Oh look, I like anyone, like everyone else who was at the game. I was nervous and excited about. I mean, I'm not sure because when we watch it, we were looking at it in a little bit more detail. But I'm sure it was a great game to watch, an exciting game of footy. In that last probably 30 seconds, I sit back and watch with everyone else. There's nothing we can do. The runner can't go on. That's the players getting it done. And so I've coached in enough games where there's a goal kicked from that back 50 stoppage. Too many games at this ground. So it was nice to see our guys get it done.
And Adam Kelly would have said, thank God the AFL doesn't have Sanford last touch, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would have.
He said, thank God the AFL don't listen to Sanford.